To each of the witnesses. On March 10th, 2019, Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302 departed Addis Ababa Airport with 157 souls on board. Among them were parents and children, reverends and international aid workers, and college students with their entire lives ahead of them. But at 8:44 a.m., 6 minutes after takeoff, what should have been a routine 2-hour flight turned into a tragedy. Flight 302 crashed, killing all 157 people. Although devastating on its own, the tragedy of Flight 302 was compounded by the fact that something like this had happened less than 6 months earlier. Lion Air Flight 610 had been in the air just 12 minutes before plunging into the Java Sea at 6:32 a.m. on October 29, 2018, killing all 189 people on board. The 346 men, women, and children lost in these tragic crashes came from 35 different countries, ranged in age from the elderly to the unborn, and had professions as diverse as their backgrounds. But they did have one thing in common. They were all traveling on a brand new plane, a Boeing 737 MAX. It is truly unfortunate that today's hearing is necessary, and I wish we didn't have to be here today. But our first priority in aviation must always be the safety of the flying public. The fact of the matter is that these crashes and subsequent reports on how the 737 MAX was approved have badly shaken consumer confidence. In aviation, as in other industries where a small mistake can have catastrophic consequences, trust is the currency of the realm. Trust of the flying public in the safety of the aircraft they step onto. Trust of our international partners in the diligence and thoroughness of our regulatory bodies. And increasingly, trust of our regulatory bodies in the quality and truthfulness of the data and certifications provided and performed by industry. Not only have the recent crashes shaken the confidence of the public, but the questions that have been raised in the aftermath about FAA's oversight of aircraft manufacturers, the certification process for planes, and the close relationship between industry and regulator threaten to erode trust in the entire system. It is incumbent on us, as legislators, as regulators, and as industry leaders, to work to ensure that that does not occur. Today's hearing takes the first step down that road by seeking to answer some fundamental questions. First, we need to understand exactly what happened, both in these specific crashes and with the certification process for the MAX aircraft, so that we can take action to keep something like these tragic crashes from occurring again. Second, we need to look at the aviation safety space more broadly and identify where we can and should make improvements. We need to answer, or at least begin to answer, questions like, is the FAA taking the right approach to the oversight and certification of aircraft manufacturing, operations, and repair, particularly with regard to designated authority? Also answering, how safe is commercial aviation, both in the United States and internationally? And how can we increase the level of safety even further? And how can we restore the confidence and trust of the flying public, both in the United States and internationally? As our witnesses today will highlight in their testimony, commercial aviation in the United States today is as safe as it ever has been. Worldwide, and particularly in the United States, the likelihood of being in a fatal commercial plane crash is infinitesimally low. And this is a record that we can and should be proud of. But this record is also exactly what makes the recent crashes and reports of lenient oversight by the FAA so frustrating. As a nation, we have been on such a promising upward trend in safety that although these crashes occurred in foreign countries, the the questions that have been raised about the integrity of our regulatory processes strikes right to the heart of aviation safety here at home. We need to do better, and I firmly believe that we can. With that, I'll recognize the ranking member of the Aviation and Space Subcommittee, Senator